Look, I don't want to waste any of your time, so let's just get straight into it. 5 tips on how to produce more professional music. All the presets you can find in the description below. Go check that out. Alright, so the first juicy tip I'm going to show you guys is to make all of your leads and instruments sound organic and human-like. Now, the best way to do that is obviously to record the MIDI or melody in live. If you don't know how to play though, then you're going to have to do it manually. And that's how I do things because I can't play for crap. So here I have a melody that is quantized. All of the notes have the same velocity. So let's have a listen to this. You can hear it sounds good, but it sounds robotic. So what you can do, if you come into the MIDI notes like this, you can actually hold Alt and drag these out to different lengths, like they would be on a MIDI if you played them in live, and they wouldn't be perfectly velocity sensitive. Hold Alt, click and drag up or down, and you can see the velocity bar changing down the bottom there. And we can also click and hold Alt and then tap left or right on our directional pad to put them off time a little bit. And just go through every one of these notes and do exactly the same thing. You can already hear it starting to sound a little bit more natural, and this is what it sounds like after you do the whole thing. Now, you can take this a step further by actually mapping the MIDI velocity to the cutoff of the sound. In this preset, you can see I've got the cutoff here mapped by this envelope 2 here. But what we can do, we can actually put the velocity onto this as well. So when the velocity gets stronger, the cutoff opens up wider. It's a really cool way to just add a little bit of movement. Another thing you can do is actually add an LFO to your cutoff here. Lower down the rate, turn BPM off, lower down the rate. And that'll just open up the cutoff over time and then lower it down over time. Just adding that warmth and human type feel that we're looking for. Tip number 2, and that is adding counter melodies. Now, this melody sounds okay by itself, but when you add a counter melody behind it to support it, that's where it really comes to life. So the counter melody is this. Not much by itself, but when you layer them together,
I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you.
Now, one of the things I like to do when making a counter melody is exactly the same as the main melody, record it in live and just nudge things off the beat, randomize all the velocities and things like that. But what I also like to do is do like a question and answer type effect. So let me change this one to green so you can see the difference here. And then if we highlight both of these, you can see how the main melody plays, and then when there's empty space, the counter melody answers. So the questions are here, and then the counter melody answers. The questions, counter melody answers, so on. That's a really good thing to use in every aspect of music, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can use that in the next tip. Alright, so the third tip is adding extra layers as backing vocals, which really help harmonize and have that question-answer thing that we talked about in the last tip. So here you can see I have a couple of layers. I've got a main vocal and a backing vocal. So let's listen to these together.
And I've been thinking about you.
Question, answer,
I've
question,
been thinking about you.
answer,
I've
question,
been thinking about you.
answer. You see what I'm getting at here? It's like you leave a bit of space in the main vocal or main melody, and then you fill it up with a second counter melody or counter vocal that really helps emphasize that main vocal. That's the thing that will get people to sing and hum to your music. And now I've done the same thing in the second part of the music in the song here. It's a question, answer. So I've got another song here which I've got that same question and answer type effect. You can hear the main vocal here, and then the answer like comes in here along with some of this other stuff as well. So let's listen from here.
Every day I'm getting old, but without you, darling, wish you love, wish you love, wish you love, that you're safe and good after all.
So you can hear the question was here, and that was the answer. And a good way to make it sound more like an answer and not just a replica of the original vocal is by adding some formant shifting, lowering the formant to make it sound like a different voice. You can hear how it changes the voice. Great way to make it sound like a different singer. Alright, so tip number 4, and that is adding Foley. Now, for those of you who don't know what Foley is, it's basically background stuff that just helps fill out the song. If you don't have that, it's going to sound empty. So the start of this song here sounds like this. The Foley helps paint a picture of the song. It's like some person hopping out their car, walking down the beach, and they're thinking about some dude, some boy, or their ex-boyfriend or something. I don't know. But it paints a picture. Now you can use things like footsteps, like waves, and I've just got a rattle in here, which doesn't do much, but it kind of helps fill it out a little bit. And then like a car door. All of these sounds are all organic, natural sounds that help make it feel more natural and human-like. Now I'm going to show you on another song how you can add Foley in other ways. Okay, another way that I like to make my own Foley is by resampling a section of my track with some reverb on it. So here I've got my main vocal.
Tell me there's another way.
And what I've done is I've cut a little section of that out, and I've put some reverb on it to about 4.5 seconds. You can do this on anything. You can do it on melodies, whatever. And then all you do is you create a new track here, click resampling, arm that track while you've still got that vocal track soloed, and then just record. Allow it to record all the way out. And then we just get rid of that sample in there. Then you can drag this wherever you want it. Hit reverse or something like that, duplicate it, reverse it again. And now we actually have a nice build up for our vocal.
Tell me there's another way.
You can use this all the way throughout your track and it fits in there perfectly. Alright, so the last tip is probably one of the most important tips because you can do it on every aspect of your music that really helps everything shine and come to life, and that is adding some high-end harmonics. Now there's heaps of ways you can do this, and I'm going to show you a few. I've also included an instrument rack in the description below. You can download that from my website, so go and check that out. So here is a super saw that I have without this glistening effect. Sounds cool. But with the glistening effect, before the glistening effect, after, you can just hear how much life that gives it. So I'm going to get this instrument rack here. I'm going to show you exactly what it does. So there's a few ways you can do it. You can use the RC20 plugin, which I really like to use. It kind of got this retro sort of vibe. You can use reverb. Now to use reverb, all you have to do is basically remove all of the low frequencies, remove some of the middle frequencies, and then boost some of the high frequencies, and put a slight pre-delay on it so it comes in just after the main sound. You can also do it with delay, and delay is a similar thing where you just put a slight delay, like 10 milliseconds, 30 milliseconds on the different ears. Get rid of all of the low frequencies and leave the high frequencies. You can hear how it brings it to life. You can also add the two together. You can also add some saturation. And then, last but not least, the OTT. You can hear how much crispier and shinier that sounds. Almost sounds metallic at the top there. So if you guys liked all of these tips and tricks, I have a whole bunch more. You can check them out on the video that's popped up over here. I hope to see you guys there. Take it easy.